Ever wonder why we carve pumpkins, dress up in costumes, and go trick-or-treating on October 31st? The story of Halloween is way older and more fascinating than you might think. Let's peel back the layers and uncover the true origins of this spooky celebration. Our journey begins over 2,000 years ago with the ancient Celts who lived in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France. Their new year started on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest, and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time often associated with human mortality. The night before their new year, on October 31st, they celebrated a festival called Samhain. The Celts believed that on the night of Samhain, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. They thought the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth, causing trouble and damaging crops. To ward off these spirits, they would light huge bonfires and wear costumes typically consisting of animal heads and skins to disguise themselves and confuse any roaming ghosts. They'd also leave food and wine on their doorsteps to appease the spirits. It was a night of supernatural intensity, a way for people to cope with the uncertainties of the coming winter. Fast forward a few hundred years. As the Roman Empire conquered Celtic territory, two of their festivals merged with the Celtic celebration of Samhain. One was Feralia, a day in late October when Romans commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, which likely explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that's still a part of Halloween celebrations today. Now, let's talk about the Christian influence, which is where the name Halloween actually comes from. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor All Saints. This celebration was called All Saints' Day. The evening before it, the traditional night of Samhain, began to be called All Hallows' Eve. Hallow is an Old English word for holy or saint, so All Hallows' Eve literally means the evening before All Saints' Day. Over time, All Hallows' Eve was shortened to Halloween. Interestingly, while the Bible doesn't mention Halloween directly, it does speak about engaging with spiritual forces. For example, in Ephesians 6, it talks about putting on the full armor of God to stand against spiritual challenges. Early Christians likely saw the pagan rituals of Samhain as something to be cautious of, and the establishment of All Saints' Day was a way to redirect that spiritual focus towards something they found more positive and holy. The church didn't erase the old traditions. Instead, they were often blended and reinterpreted. So, how did we get from ancient bonfires to trick-or-treating? As these traditions evolved in Europe, practices like souling became popular. On All Hallows' Eve, the poor would go door to door, offering to pray for the souls of a family's dead relatives in exchange for soul cakes. This is a likely ancestor of our modern trick-or-treating. The jack-o'-lantern tradition also comes from an Irish folktale about a man named Stingy Jack who was doomed to roam the earth with only a burning coal inside a carved-out turnip to light his way. The Irish originally used turnips, but when they immigrated to America, they found that pumpkins were much larger and easier to carve. So there you have it. Halloween is a rich tapestry woven from Celtic paganism, Roman festivals, and Christian traditions. It's a holiday that has traveled through centuries and across continents, picking up new customs along the way. It's a fascinating blend of spooky and sacred, ancient and modern. Thanks for joining me on this historical journey. If you enjoyed learning about the real story of Halloween, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more amazing story, and hit that notification bell. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Halloween tradition is. See you next time. It is Grace Chronicles 1.